Hi, welcome to another Mind Matters, a moment for the mind. I hope you're doing well and I'm glad you've tuned in. And if you have only 1 minute to hear anything in this next little series, then just know this: nature is good for us. Get outside and get involved in it as much as you can. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail and talk about that a little bit more. But if you don't have time to hear the whole thing, then just know it's good for us. Get outside, okay? So it is very good for us. Nature not only helps us physically, but also psychologically and also physiologically as well. Some of the benefits that we experience when we are outside in nature include the following. We can have, from physical effects, it can help us to lower our blood pressure, it can increase our immune system, it can lower our stress hormone levels. It also actually helps to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, and that's the part of our nervous system that helps us to calm down and feel a little bit more just calm. And then it can also we know that it helps us to make really favorable changes to our heart rate variability. A really, really interesting study that happened between 1972 and 1981 showed that people who were recovering from gallbladder surgery and were able to look outside and see nature outside of their window actually improved faster than patients who had had the same surgery and were looking outside and noticing brick walls or could only see brick walls. So that's a pretty fascinating little study. So it may actually help us to recover faster when we can just look outside and see nature during our recovery period from surgeries and things like that. One really important thing to know is, or one really important thing that I want to mention is that when we're outside in nature, to have these really positive experiences, we also want to be feeling safe, obviously. So if you're in a situation where you're not feeling physically safe when you're in nature or emotionally safe when you're in a natural setting, then you're not going to necessarily have these positive experiences. So really getting outside, being in places that feel safe for you, and doing it during times, weather pattern times where things are safe. In terms of psychological benefits, okay, we know that being outdoors can help with reducing depressive symptoms. It can help with reducing anxiety. It increases our self-esteem. It can increase our mood. It can increase our mental focus. And in children, it can actually also improve their cognition. Then we also know they can help us to reduce, like if we're feeling really like an impulsive decision maker, the amount of time we spend outside in nature can actually help reduce that level of impulsivity that we feel when it comes to making decisions. Let's see, one study that I wanted to bring up that I thought was really interesting showed that when people were able to look at scenes, natural scenes, prior to facing a stressful situation, they recovered physiologically from the stressful event faster than folks that were not able to see these nature scenes. So that's kind of neat information. I don't know if your computers have those, or if your computer has that kind of like screensaver where all the beautiful pictures of nature flash in front of you, if your screensaver goes on, but that may actually be helping you out in more ways than you know and then you realize. So how much time should we spend in nature? That is the big question, right? How much time do we need to spend to get all of these amazing benefits? One study of 20,000 people said that, kind of defined this hard, fast rule that 120 minutes a week should do it. So that is 2 hours in nature a week. And that you kind of needed to have at least that amount of time to get these sorts of benefits. So again, that was one study, but it did have 20,000 people and it did account for all sorts of cultural differences in that as well. Another study showed that if we walk for 90 minutes in a natural setting, so not outside in a big city, but just walking for 90 minutes in a natural setting, like a green space, the greenway, or even a neighborhood where there are a lot of trees and not a lot of traffic, that helps us if we are struggling. It can help us if we're struggling with ruminating thoughts, those kinds of thoughts that just go over and over and over in your mind, that there's actually decreased activity in that part of the brain after 90 minutes. So, and then the final thing that I want to say is if you're not able to get outside, don't fear, okay? If you are recovering from something or just not able to get outdoors as much as you want, you can do other things that help bring nature into you. Definitely have nature scenes available to you, whether it's on your computer or putting pictures up on the wall, or just having areas in your house where you can look and see scenes of nature could be really beneficial. The other thing that you may consider doing is just buying houseplants and having plants around. There are a couple separate studies that showed that having access to plants, indoor plants, is also incredibly good for us and has very similar benefits. So I'm including some links to the research below, and so feel free to check it out if you have any more questions. But until then, I hope you're able to get outside some this weekend and enjoy the natural space, and I wish you well. Take care of yourselves and each other.